So, as a seasoned law enforcement person with a lot of real world experience, um, there are a couple of situations that I'm curious to get your insight on before
Okay.
we end this. Now, of course, you have been paying attention. Well, you've been paying attention to what's going on with this guy Keefe D and his whole Tupac involvement with the murder of Tupac and how he's implicating um, Diddy and so forth. What do you think is the likelihood of Diddy being arrested in connection with this on the basis of this guy's, claims?
Okay. Now, talking as a retired agent, okay, remember what I said earlier. Puff Daddy is great friends with Andrew Campbell,
Mm-hmm.
who is a captain of the Gambino.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't, I don't know. And Puff Daddy going to the same high school as me. If they're looking at you as a suspect, who knows? Maybe I don't know. I think he might go down on this.
Mm.
That's my thought. Now, again, Puff Daddy is a very wealthy man who will probably get the best attorneys, but this
Mm-hmm.
is a murder that happened how many years ago now?
27.
Yeah, 27. So a lot of people's memories become foggy, but evidence is evidence. If they have evidence that's really puts them in, will be pretty damaging. And for them to revive this cold case and to bring it to where it's coming from when people are being targeted and even arrested, they must have a lot of good stuff on it. We're not going to know. We're going to know as the trial begins. But my thoughts are that if they are looking at you 27 years later, they got something on you.
Yeah.
They won't be wasting their time because they're going to look bad. And Puff Daddy is not the kind of guy you want to mess with, not because he's a badass, because he's not.
He's got a lot of resources.
Exactly.
Did Frank Matthews' name ever come up in any of your investigations?
No, did not.
No.
Tell me about why. It rings a bell, but I can't put it together with investigation. Was he the narcotic trafficker?
He was a narcotics trafficker that was like the biggest dude, and then he got busted in association with the French Connection situation, and he bailed out for like $325,000. And the prosecutor had the miscommunication or the brain fart or something to say to him in passing in the courthouse. He says, yeah, it looks like you're probably going to be indicted, Frank. And he says, really? He said, yeah. And then Frank disappeared with like $20 million and was never seen again.
So he's on the lam still.
Yeah, it's been that was like, that might have been like 73, I think.
Oh my God. Yeah, well,
something like that.
God bless him for that, being out that long. He's probably out in Europe somewhere, hiding. But yeah, no, the name only, like I said, rang a bell to me, like being part of, who was the other guy that appeared in the New York Times? I can see him right now with a suit on. He was bold. Frank.
You talking about Nicky?
Yeah, Nicky.
Yeah. Nicky Barnes was a contemporary of Frank's. Frank was bigger than him in that Frank was in every major city. Frank was dealing with all the guys out of Philadelphia, Frank Christian, Bo Baines, and those guys, the Temple 12, the Black Mafia guys. Yeah, he was the older guys before Aaron and them. Yeah, so like Frank was huge. He was huge, and he definitely got away. So I always wondered if he was something that was kind of known throughout the FBI for the generations that followed.
No,
it's like
not really. But think about what they did with Whitey Bulger. I mean, guys like this, all of a sudden we'll read about it one day, get caught living a plain life somewhere,
Yep.
And look at Joanne Chesimard. She's in Cuba. And Joanne Chesimard, I worked that case. And so you're dealing, people like that. Of course, they go to Cuba, you're free forever. But if you're living on the lam like Whitey Bulger did, and let's say Frank Matthews did, you got to be looking over your shoulder. You got to be cautious about this, because all it takes is one appearance in that show. What do you call that?
America's Most Wanted.
America's Most Wanted. And somebody knows somebody. So, you know, and then we'll read about it and we'll say, oh, shit, I remember talking about it.
All right, all right. I really appreciated this, man. You know, after reading your book over the last 2 days, to be able to speak to you and ask some of the questions that I would think any reader would have in, you know, having read your book, and to be able to speak to you directly and ask those questions, it's really been a remarkable opportunity, brother. And I appreciate you very much. Appreciate your time. Thank you for doing Vlad TV.
Well, thank you for the invite, and it was a pleasure. Best interview I had so far.
Thank you, brother.
You made me comfortable. So
I appreciate it.
All
Looking
right.
forward.
Good.
Take care of yourself.
You too,
All
man.
right.
All the best.
All right. Peace.